Okay. Raise your hand if you have ever announced your offer to your community, and when no one showed interest or joined after the first day, you immediately thought your offer wasn't good and no one is going to buy. If you raised your hand, know that I shot my hand up too. I have been there. So, what do you do when you know you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing when it comes to, you know, creating an offer that you know that your community wants, you're promoting it, you're doing all of the things, but it's still not selling. Your offer isn't selling. What do you do? So that is what we are going to talk about today. Specifically, we're going to talk about the mindset behind this because this is something that comes up as a business owner. So let's jump into today's episode. Hey, mama, are you tired of feeling stressed and overwhelmed trying to grow your online business with your babies at home? You desire more flexibility in your day, allowing you to pour into your family, yourself, and your business without running yourself into the ground. Mama, you can build your dream business and do it in a way that fits your current season of life. And I'm going to show you exactly how. Welcome to the Mama Turned Mompreneur podcast. I'm your host, Andria Singletary, daughter of the king, wife, mama of two, and life and business coach for mompreneurs. On this podcast, you will learn business strategies made for mamas just like you, who desire to be successful CEOs and fully present mamas without stress or overwhelm. So whether you're an entrepreneur who transitioned to a mompreneur or a mama turned mompreneur, I am here to support you. So grab your coffee, notebook, and pen, put in those earbuds, and let's dig in. Okay, so what do you do when you're doing everything right and your offer isn't selling? So one thing that I really want to talk about today is the power of embracing delayed gratification as a mompreneur. And I know you probably weren't expecting that, right? You're probably expecting like some type of strategy or something like that. But no, we're going to talk about this mindset piece because this is huge. Literally, your mindset can keep you from signing new clients. And I want to talk about this because as a society, we expect instant gratification. And this can trickle into entrepreneurship. If you think about it, that is why we have the microwave. We don't want to wait for our food to cook in the oven. That's why we have an air fryer. We do not like delayed gratification. We want things instantly. We want it now. And so when that mindset, that instant gratification mindset trickles into your entrepreneur journey, your mompreneur journey, that is detrimental. It gets to the point where we expect to post one piece of content and it's a content we'd poured our heart, soul, everything into. Or we speak at one summit or we get so many people on our email list. And we expect to sign a bunch of clients just from doing that one thing. And that's not how business works, running your own business. It doesn't work that way. I know that people in the online space make it seem like that, you'll see content around, if you're posting content and nobody's converting, you're doing something wrong. When the reality is that it takes time. It really does take time because when you're new to the online space, you have to, yes, you got to get your messaging down. You have to figure all of that out. But when it comes to even figuring out your messaging, you got to have conversations with people. You have to build community. You have to figure out who do you actually want in your community. There's so many things that go into it and it takes time. But the biggest thing is that you have to keep showing up. A big part of figuring out whether or not a strategy is working for you is that you have to do it consistently at least 3 months. I say even give it 6 months or more But at least 3 months, you need to be consistently implementing that strategy to see whether or not you need to make some changes. And we don't give it enough time. We literally expect to post a week. We expect to publish a month's worth of podcast episodes and to sign a client just like that. It doesn't work that way. I've seen on average for myself, for my clients, for it to take anywhere from 3 to 6 months, and more so on the 6 months in, especially if you aren't going into podcasting with a already established audience. It takes at least 6 months to actually convert a listener into your paid offer program. But if you're not being consistent within that time frame, it's going to take even longer. And so you have to continue to show up even when it seems like nothing is happening. You have to keep showing up. And so I'm going to give you guys an example. I'm using myself as an example. I have 2 examples. So back in 2023, May of 2023, I hosted a challenge. I think it was called the, oh my gosh, I can't even remember. I think it was called like lead generating podcast content in 3 days. No, 3 days to lead generating podcast content. I hosted a challenge that funneled into my Podcasting for Your Business Accelerator. I've shared before how, I converted from the people who signed up for the challenge, I converted 10%. So it was like 30 people that signed up and then 3 people joined the program. But a lot of the women who signed up for the challenge, they stayed in my world. They continued to listen to the podcast. They were on my email list. So this was May 2023. December 2023, so the end of the year, I had one of the women from that challenge reach out to me and inquire about me launching her podcast and managing it. Now imagine if after that challenge, because I didn't see a higher conversion rate or something, I stopped showing up. That mama wouldn't have kept me in mind for when she was ready to launch her podcast. So that's one example. Another example is I had someone that I connected with, probably it was over the summer 2023. And, at the time, she wasn't ready to invest in me supporting her with launching her podcast. She reached out January. So this month, January 2024, said she was ready, signed up for the Get It Done week. Again, imagine if I didn't continue to show up when she didn't, opt into one of my paid offers when I first connected with her. You keep showing up because they may not invest when they first connect with you, but they're watching. They're looking to see if you're being consistent. They're looking to see if what you were saying, way back when, you're still saying it. Your messaging is still consistent. You're still, sharing the same beliefs and values and different things. You're not switching it up on them. That is how you earn your community's trust. That is how they get to know you better, but you have to keep showing up. It's going to pay off. But if you start, stop, in your community's mind, the people who are watching you, they're going to think that that's how you run your business. So however you create content, and I'm not talking about showing up on social media, however you're choosing to create content for your business, you have to keep showing up. I recently saw on Threads that someone posted that, she was hosting a masterclass and no one signed up for it. And she said, you know what? I'm going to record this and I'm going to make it available for purchase. That is what I'm talking about. Even if nobody signs up for your masterclass, still record it and you can sell it. And then people further down the line, those people who are thinking about signing up but didn't, they'll purchase it. Keep showing up. And I get it because it's you're not seeing the results, but I promise you, people are watching your content. I can't tell you how many times where people, they like, I call them lurkers. I love lurkers. I really do. But they are like watching your content. They're consuming your content. And when you least expect it, they're going to be like, hey, I want to work with you like this. My client, Jessica, like I talk about her, because she's the mama behind Life in Seasons Coach, and she was my motivation. She was technically a lurker. I didn't even know she was a listener. I didn't even know she was on my email list. And then she followed me on Instagram, and then out of nowhere, hey, can you support me with this? But if I had stopped showing up, if I wasn't consistently posting on the podcast, if I wasn't consistently emailing my list, she never would have reached out, because she would have been like, you know what? It doesn't seem like Andria's consistent, and I need somebody who's going to be reliable to support me with this. That is why you keep showing up. So you need to figure out, what is showing up going to look like for you? Are you going to focus on social media? Are you going to focus on long form content? Whatever your strategy is, pick it. And don't try to be all over the place. That's going to stress you out, and you're not going to be able to keep up, and you're going to get burnt out. Decide like 1 to 2 platforms. That's it. That is it. You don't need to be on every single social media platform. You don't need to be doing every single type of long form content if you don't have the capacity to do it. So decide on what your strategy is going to be and give it time to work. So implement it at least for 90 days. I say give it even a little bit longer, but if you can consistently do it for 90 days, do that and see if it's working. See if you're generating leads, if you're converting people into your paid offers and programs. Do that. Another thing is that you need to have conversations. You need to be talking to your ideal client so you can know what language they're actually using to describe what it is that you can support them with. Have conversations. Do market research. I'm going to link the episode where I talk about market research, but do market research. Like, this need to be part of your 90-day strategy. Do market research. Have those conversations. Poll your audience. Figure out what it is that they want, they need, the transformation they want, and making sure that you are communicating it in a way that resonates with them. And then make sure you are actively growing your audience and growing it with the right people, so you actually have people to sell to. Sometimes the biggest problem is that we haven't grown a community, and so we're selling to nobody. Nobody knows who we are. So you do need to make sure you're getting visible. And this can be done in different ways. I have a whole series on getting visible off social media. If that is something you desire to do, I will link it below in the show notes. But get visible. Grow your community with the right people. This is why I'm a firm believer in podcasting, because I am creating specific content with an ideal person in mind. And it's speaking to those people, and it's leading to those conversions, people working with me, whether it's for coaching or for podcasting. But I know who my ideal client is, and that's who I'm speaking to. I ain't speaking to everybody. I am speaking to somebody specific. I'm speaking to the mamas out there who either want to start a business or grow a business, and do it in a way that fits their current season of life. Do it in a way that allows them to be the present moms that they need to be. Do it in a way where they're not running themselves into the ground. Doing it in a way that's sustainable and is not requiring them to rely on social media. That's who I'm speaking to. So make sure that you are speaking to your ideal clients through your content, and you're getting in front of those people. Whether that is through your own podcast, through blogging, through YouTube, through podcast guesting, through collaborations, social media, whatever you're choosing to do, make sure you're actively growing your community. Okay? That is it for this episode. If you are in this place where you feel like you're doing everything right and your offer isn't selling, you're not seeing those results that you want to see, reach out. Life and Seasons coaching may be a good option for you. I do have an application, and I know sometimes that deters people, but I need to know that you are actually a good fit for this coaching program, because I don't want us to get into it and you're not a good fit, because this is an investment. So that is why I have you fill out the application first. I review it to make sure you're a good fit, and then we go from there. So if you think that you would be a good fit for Life and Seasons coaching, and this is something you want support with, head to mompreneur.com/coaching and complete the application today. And completing the application is not saying that you are investing. This is just the starting the process so we can make sure that this is a good fit, that we're a good fit to work together and go from there. All right, Mama, I'll catch you in the next episode. Well, Mama, that's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to hang with me. If you enjoyed today's episode, will you do me a favor and follow the podcast and leave a review? Hitting that follow button and sharing your thoughts about the podcast are the best ways to ensure that other mamas like you find this show. Your review also lets me know if you're enjoying this podcast, so make sure to share your thoughts before you go. All right, Mama, I'll catch you in the next episode.